She riffled through the drawer in Jason's study, a place she seldom explored. That's when she saw it. Samantha sat across from her best friend, Irene, her face pale and tired. Her eyes, once bright with joy and optimism, now brimmed with quiet exhaustion. I just don't know what to do anymore, Irene, Samantha sighed, stirring her tea absent-mindedly. Jason comes home later and later. We barely speak, and when we do, it's like he's already somewhere else. Irene leaned in, her expression filled with concern. Sam, you deserve to be loved properly. You've been patient long enough. If he's not treating you right, you have every right to step back and focus on yourself. Samantha nodded, comforted by her friend's words. Do you think he's cheating? Irene's eyes widened just enough before she caught herself. You can't jump to that conclusion, but if your gut says something's off, you should trust it. Just don't beg or plead. You're not the one who should be fighting alone. Little did Samantha know, her best friend wasn't just offering advice. She was hiding the very betrayal Samantha feared. Weeks passed. Samantha tried to fix what was left of her marriage. Therapy sessions were suggested and ignored by Jason. The distance grew like a crack in a frozen lake, slowly spidering out until everything felt fragile. One Saturday afternoon, Samantha searched for a box of family documents to renew her license. She riffled through the drawer in Jason's study, a place she seldom explored. That's when she saw it. 2 passports, 2 plane tickets, same destination, same date. Her fingers trembled as she pulled them out. Jason's name was on one, and the other? Irene Adams. The world tilted. She sat down slowly, bile rising in her throat. Her breath became short, her eyes wide with disbelief. Her best friend, her confidant, her sister in everything but blood, her husband. They were running away together without a word, without shame, and they would have gotten away with it. Samantha didn't scream. She didn't call. She didn't confront. She planned. The next morning, the documents were gone, burned in the backyard fire pit. She watched the flames consume the betrayer, felt the heat of her fury reflected in her face. Then she called the real estate agent. Her house, purchased with her inheritance, was listed the same week. Jason came home 3 nights later to find half his wardrobe gone and the rest in garbage bags on the porch. The locks were changed. The neighbors stared. He called her cell. She let it ring. Then he got a text. You and Irene should have packed lighter. The house is sold. The tickets are ashes. This game, over. I won't cry for either of you. Jason tried to reason, plead, even threaten. Irene called once. Samantha didn't pick up. Instead, Samantha booked a solo trip to Italy. She'd never traveled alone before. She bought a new journal, a wide-brimmed hat, and a bottle of champagne to celebrate her freedom. The day Jason and Irene were supposed to be boarding a flight to start their new life, Samantha was sipping Prosecco on a sunny balcony in Florence. Her heart still ached. The betrayal still stung. But now she knew what not to do. Never beg for loyalty. Never ignore your intuition. And never let betrayal go unpunished. Jason and Irene eventually broke up. Their plans ruined, their lies exposed. Neither could rebuild what they'd burned. Samantha, meanwhile, found peace in places she'd never thought to look. Within herself, and in the quiet power of letting go after revenge had been served. Sometimes justice doesn't come in courtrooms or shouting matches. Sometimes it comes in silence and a well-timed sale of a house built on lies. Like and subscribe to this channel for more authentic stories. Thanks for watching. The ghosts that follow Italy healed Samantha in places she didn't know were wounded. She walked ancient streets, traced history with her fingertips, learned to savor meals slowly, to smile at strangers, to take pictures of sunsets instead of regrets. But peace has a strange way of welcoming uninvited thoughts. One evening in Florence, as she sat on a bench overlooking the Arno River, her phone buzzed. A single message from an unknown number. "We need to talk, please." She stared at it until the screen dimmed. Jason. Of course, even blocked numbers found cracks to crawl through. She turned her phone off and slipped it back into her bag. She refused to give oxygen to any flame he tried to reignite. But another message came the next morning. An email this time. Subject: "I messed up. I'm sorry. Please hear me out." She deleted it. Then another arrived. Longer, desperate, confessional. Jason claiming he'd been manipulated, that he'd been lost, that he'd made a mistake. But woven between his words was something that made her pause. "Irene told me you knew. You told her you'd forgive us if we stayed away. But now she's threatening to come clean. Please, Sam. I don't know what she's planning." Samantha reread it 3 times. She had said no such thing. And Irene threatening to come clean. About what? A coldness coiled in the pit of her stomach. Betrayals rarely end with the first cut. Some linger, festering in the shadows. Samantha closed her laptop. Italy had given her peace, yes, but life back home was shifting in ways she hadn't expected. She had no intention of returning early, but she knew this wasn't over. Not with Jason, and definitely not with Irene. When Samantha finally flew home weeks later, the air felt heavier somehow, as if the city itself was holding a secret. Her real estate agent greeted her warmly when she came to sign the final closing documents. "Everything went smoothly," he said, "although your friend gave us a bit of trouble." Samantha blinked. "My friend?" The agent hesitated. "Irene. She attempted to block the sale, claimed you weren't the rightful seller. She filed a petition, actually, but it was dismissed because the house was in your name only." Samantha's pulse quickened. "Did she say why?" she asked. The agent scratched his jaw. "She said you promised her half, that you two had an agreement." Samantha almost laughed, but there was no humor in the sound that escaped her. Irene wasn't just desperate, she was delusional. Or worse, planning something she thought she could still win. Samantha thanked the agent and walked out into the parking lot, the crisp air biting her skin. Her phone buzzed again. Another email. This one from Irene. "You don't get to erase me. We need to talk. I need what's mine." Samantha stared at the screen, heart steady, anger quiet and controlled, the most dangerous kind. Irene had stolen her husband, but now it seemed she wanted something more, something Samantha wasn't willing to give. Not then, not ever. 2 days later, Samantha found Irene sitting on the hood of her car in the grocery store parking lot, waiting. She looked thinner, her hair unkempt, her eyes wild with a kind of frantic desperation. Samantha locked her doors and rolled her window down just an inch. "Irene," she said calmly, "get off my car." Irene slid off, but didn't step back. "You ruined everything," Irene hissed, her voice trembling. "I loved him. He was supposed to choose me. And you took the house. You took the money. Samantha cut her off. "I took back what was mine, and what you tried to steal. You don't understand," Irene whispered angrily. "He told me you were going to leave him. He told me you were unhappy. He said you didn't want the marriage, that you wanted out." Samantha felt something inside her go still. Jason had lied to both of them. He didn't cheat because he loved Irene. He cheated because lies were easier than facing his own emptiness. But Irene wasn't finished. "He said we could have everything, and then you sold the house just to spite us." "It was my house," Samantha said evenly.
bought with my inheritance. You never had any claim. Irene stepped forward, her voice cracking. He promised me stability, a future. You stole that. Samantha rolled the window down another inch. No, she said, voice low but razor sharp. He stole you. He used you, just like he tried to use me. The difference is, I woke up. Irene flinched as if struck. Samantha continued, You weren't my friend, Irene. You were my warning. After a long, shaking breath, Irene backed away, tears streaming down her cheeks. Just tell him to stop calling me, she whispered. Tell him I'm done. Samantha held her gaze. Then be done, she said. Walk away. For once in your life, choose yourself. Irene nodded weakly, then turned and left. Her car pulled away without another word. Samantha watched her go, not with triumph, but with something close to pity. Months passed without another message from Jason or Irene. The divorce finalized quietly, tied with neat legal bows. Samantha bought a new condo overlooking the river, smaller but warm, filled with light. She started painting again, something she'd abandoned years ago. She joined a hiking group. She adopted a rescue dog named Basil, who insisted on sleeping with his head on her feet. And one crisp autumn morning, while walking Basil through the local park, she met someone new. His name was Marco. He was patient, kind, and didn't flinch when she mentioned the word divorce. He liked books and slow mornings and strong coffee. He didn't try to fill her silence. He honored it. Samantha didn't fall fast, but she fell real, and when she finally realized she wasn't thinking about Jason or Irene anymore, not with anger or hurt or anything at all, she understood what true closure feels like. It's not forgetting the past. It's walking far enough away that it can't follow. Jason moved to another city. Last Samantha heard, he'd cycled through 2 more relationships, each ending for the same reasons he never dared to confront. Irene left social media. Rumors said she started therapy. Samantha hoped that part was true, not out of kindness, but because everyone deserves at least one chance to save themselves. As for Samantha, she rebuilt, stronger, sharper, softer in the right places. She learned that betrayal is not the end of a story. Sometimes it's just the brutal beginning of a better one.